Like, my parents love Jesus. I grew up.
Wait. I need to do my intro first. I forgot.
Wait, go ahead, do it.
I need to introduce you as well. Okay. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Kickstart with Kayla. I'm your host, Kayla Farner, and I am so excited that you are here with me this week. If you haven't connected with me already, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Kickstart with Kayla. And if you have any inquiries, you can email me at kickstartwithkayla@gmail.com. Guys, I've been waiting on this episode for literally months. I'm so excited for our guest this week. I have my friend Chazz May with me today. Hello, Chazz.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up? Chazz and I have been friends for several years now. And he is just so like on fire for God. Like his faith is so inspiring. And so when I first started my podcast, he was one of the first people I thought of to have on here. So I'm super happy that we're doing this. This is awesome. So, Chaz, I wanted to start off because a lot of people may not know you. If you could share a little bit of your testimony, just to share, how you got to where you are now in your walk with Christ.
Yeah, most definitely. So, I guess I had the casual, you know, Christian life growing up. I mean, my parents loved Jesus. I grew up in a family that was surrounded by Jesus. Like everybody in my family is just in love with God. But I was very rebellious, I guess, from a younger age. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want anything to do with Jesus. Me and my brother used to fall asleep on the chairs during worship. Like it was bad. We just really did not enjoy going to church. And I mean, I remember going to a camp in like sixth grade and, truly making the decision to give my life to Jesus. Um, and I felt like I knew what it really meant, but I don't think I truly did. But it sparked my heart for Jesus. I can't really pinpoint a time when I actually like nothing really dramatic happened that like turned me to Christ. Um, the biggest point in my life I can remember is starting to share an FCA. Like I just felt this strong pull in my heart to want to read my Bible and to want to know about Jesus. And so I started sharing the FCA in like sixth and seventh grade. And then it wasn't until like COVID hit eighth grade year that we couldn't go to church. And so me and my brother were like, all right, well, we can't go to church. I was like, well, why don't we and we had some issues with, like, some of the people in our youth. I don't really know how to describe it, like, they made it seem to us like we weren't doing enough because we weren't showing up. So we're like, "Alright, fine, we're gonna do this thing ourselves, and we're gonna figure, who this Jesus dude is out together, and we're gonna, like, grow in our knowledge of the word and figure out who this guy is." So we kinda just dove in honestly, me and my brother just went on this journey of following, like, or diving deep into our Bibles. Like, we would read every single day. Um, we would just get into the Bible and just read. I didn't even know what I was reading. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just started praying and started asking the Lord to start changing my heart. And then that's whenever He put the online ministry on my mind, and that's when I started. I made my first ever TikTok video, and I remember being so scared. I was like, if any of my friends see this, I'm gonna be like, everybody's gonna pick on me. Everybody's gonna think I'm funny. But I remember the first TikTok I ever made. It was, "I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ." And I remember when I made that video, feeling a deep desire in my heart to like I'm not ashamed of Jesus, and I'm not gonna live my life being ashamed to tell people about my faith. And from then on, I really went on to just uh, grow up loving God. I mean, I struggled with lust, of course, all throughout high school, like a lot of high school dudes. I struggled with like watching porn, dealing with things like that. I had a relationship where I was like not being faithful to the Lord in for a long time, but I kind of hid myself under the shadow of like, I'm living a Christian life, everybody thinks that I'm perfect, but deep down inside I was like actually struggling like crazy with sin. Um, but I don't know if you want me to keep going on or not, but I guess like sophomore year is when I would say everything changed for me for real. I went to this camp in Sophia, North Carolina. It's called A Place for the Heart, and it's called 18-inch journey. It's about the journey from the head to the heart is 18 inches. And that was where I was first exposed and I first learned how to journal the voice of the Lord and really learn what the voice of the Lord was like. That this dude, this Holy Spirit who was speaking to me wasn't me, it was him. And he was alive and he was active and he was speaking and talking to me. And so I would say ever since sophomore year of high school, I fell in love with Jesus and I learned how to talk with him and how to have a relationship with him and how to listen to him. And it's like I can literally talk to him like I'm talking to you and me right now because
Yeah.
we're just best friends. We just like if something's wrong, I just talk to him like he's my parent, like he's my dad, like, "Dad, there's I'm upset right now. Can you help me?" Or, like, "Tell me what's going on. Like, why do I feel this way? Why are the trees green? Why is this going" and he always shows up. He always speaks. So, that is my testimony in a nutshell. It's still alive. It's still breathing. It's still going. I still struggle. He still helps me, but it is like a father-son relationship. Very
That's
much.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, and one thing that you mentioned is you learned how to journal the voice of the Lord. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, yeah, of course. This is one of my favorite things ever to talk to people about. So, the first time I was ever exposed to this and learned about it. So, it was really cool. I mean, um, so in we were they were teaching us something, from the Bible, and they're like, "Alright, we're gonna do something different today." And I was like, "Okay," I didn't know. They were like, "We're gonna learn to journal the voice of the Lord." And I was like, "What? You can journal the Lord's voice? What do you mean?" Um, so they had to sit down at a table and they turned on instrumental worship music. Oh my god, coolest experience ever. And they were like, "We want you to understand that the Lord's voice is so real and that he loves you and that he's always speaking to you. You just have to learn to tune the enemy out and tune in the Holy Spirit." And so they said, "I want all of you to close your eyes for 5 minutes and we're gonna turn some music on and I just want you to keep your eyes closed." And so we had a journal out in front of us and a pen in our hand. And they said, "I want you to write one phrase on your paper. It says, 'God, who do you say I am?'" And so everyone in the room wrote, "God, who do you say I am?" on that paper. I remember writing it, and I was like, "Is this even gonna work?" And I remember closing my eyes. Okay, like, oh my god, the feeling is coming back to me when I was there.
Oh,
I remember closing my eyes and writing down something that I would never have ever said about myself in my life.
wow.
The one of the sweetest, most personal compliments, love, like, it was like this love letter that I wrote to myself, and I was like, "I would never, ever say something this nice about myself." And I reread it, and I was like, "Wow, you are real, and, like, you are speaking to me." I mean, he called me by my full name. He told me I was his beautiful son, that he loved me so much, that I was handcrafted by him and special to him. And then nothing I could ever do like, who would ever tell theirself that?
Yeah,
And so I was like, there's gotta be a God. Like, how I can't just hear this. I know it's not the enemy, because he still kill and destroy. He wouldn't build me up. And
right.
I know I wouldn't tell myself this, so I was like, "I know that's God." And so from then on, I started practicing. I would write a question down on paper and I would be quiet and I would turn on instrumental music and I would listen and I would write down what he said. Every time I write it down, he says something to me that I would never tell myself. And I just know, I have confidence. I know that that's the Lord.
I need to do this.
You should.
Whoa. 'Cause I always think about, like, I will talk to God, and I will, like, feel something in my heart, like, I'll hear a voice in my head where I'm like, "Yeah, that's not me." But actually writing it down, I have never thought about actually doing that. Like, I have written down my prayers and stuff, but I've never
Yeah.
just sat there and been like, "Okay, Jesus, like, what do you wanna say to me?" and actually writing it down. I mean, how do you think that has affected your relationship with the Lord?
Um, I'm trying to I think of a word for it. I don't know if this makes sense, but it's almost like brought it to life.
Yeah.
So, I love to write, and so a lot of my heart and my feelings come out in the pages. So, I have journals and journals of writing, and so it puts my I guess, my relationship into a perspective, like, when I can see on paper what Jesus is saying to me, I don't even know how to describe it. I just feel like he's in the room with me.
Yeah.
I feel like he's actually listening to me. And then it builds trust because I'm like, you actually care what I have to say and you want to talk to me. You've been waiting. That's the thing is like, he's been waiting all day to hear from me. He's just been waiting for me to sit down and be quiet so he could talk to me. And it makes me realize that like when I'm quiet, when I have to write it down, I had to stop doing what I'm doing in my day so that I could hear his voice and then translate it on the paper. And that's all he wanted. That's all he's been wanting from me all day is just to be quiet and just to listen to him because he wants to love on me.
Wow. I saw a TikTok a few months ago that was kind of similar where this girl was saying how she really only felt God speak to her late at night when she was about to go to bed and it'd wake her up. And she asked God, like, how come I only hear from you when I'm about to go to sleep? And she felt God say, like, because that's the only time your mind is silent. You have
Mm.
your mind is racing throughout the day with so many other things. When you're going to sleep, you're just going to sleep, and then that's the only time that you're actually listening to me.
Yeah.
And so that hit me too because it's like, how many times throughout our day do we actually spend time with Jesus? Do we actually talk to him and not just tell him about our complaints or what's going on in the day, but actually just waiting and listening to hear what he has to say.
Mm.
And I think about a lot of times when people say, like, "I just don't ever hear God's voice. He just never and I just feel like he doesn't wanna spend time for me because I just never hear from him." Like, what like, ha I'm trying to think how to word this. What would you say in response to that? If has somebody ever asked you that? Like, "I just don't ever hear God."
Yeah. I've heard people say that before, like, or they'll tell me, you know, I just feel like God doesn't speak to me, or I just feel like I can't hear him. And I was like, well, have you ever tried being quiet? Like, it sounds kind of rude at first, but literally, when I will tell them about journaling the voice of the Lord, I'm like, just take 5 minutes and be quiet. Because while Gen Z is hungry for Jesus, we're in a generation that is the most consumed by things so often. Like we fill our day completely with things. If it's not one thing, if we're if we're watching YouTube while we're eating, if we're not watching YouTube while we're eating, we're working. And we're staying up late on a device and right up until the time we're going to go to bed. It's like there's something to fill every gap, but God likes the gaps, the moments of silence instead of I started practicing when I go to the gym in the morning, instead of listening to music, I stop. I turned off the music and just sit in silence. And that's what I would tell somebody who is struggling to hear from the Lord or they feel like they can't hear from God is to ask them, are you listening? Is there any moments of your day that are quiet? Because if you can't sit silently by yourself and listen, if you can't give the creator of the universe 5 minutes to talk to you, you're never going to hear from him. If you're always doing something or something's always got your attention, which is what the enemy wants to do, distract us, right?
Yeah.
If something always has your attention, of course you can't hear from God. Of course you don't know what his voice sounds like because you never give him a chance to talk to you.
Mm.
So I would tell them to find 5 to 10 minutes in their day, whether it's in the morning or at night, and just be quiet and just listen and just call out. If you call on his name, you ask, say, God, just speak to me. He will. You just have to be quiet. I don't even know how to describe it any more than that, other than you have to have a moment of silence.
Mhm. And I've noticed when I've done that too, like, kind of what you were saying earlier, I will hear things where I'm like, "I would have not ever said that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Like, that is not me saying that. I was actually just the other day, I literally just posted a TikTok on this, like, maybe 5 minutes before we hopped on this call, but, um, yesterday, as we were saying, I'm really busy, and, um, I was talking to Jesus about it yesterday, and I was like, "I'm stressed out. I have so much going on." And then I just was like, "Jesus, like, what are you trying to say to me right now?" And I was just on a walk, and I just, like, shut up, and I just stayed silent, and I felt God say, like, "Kayla, all of these things filling up your schedule are things that you used to pray for."
Mm,
And out of nowhere, I just instantly felt grateful for my stress, which sounds weird, but
yeah,
I was just like, "Wow, Jesus, like, you're right," because all of these things, like, it's stuff that just even months ago, I never would have thought would be filling up my schedule, but I'm so thankful they are. Like, I'm very thankful that I am now getting to live in answered prayers. I mean, how
right,
many times do we just sit and think about, like, the things Jesus has answered?
yeah,
It's like we take for granted so often all of these little things where it's like, "Hey, a few years ago, you would have never imagined where you are right now."
yeah,
But it really struck me, and it's like just little things like that where I probably still would have been super stressed and upset about my schedule if I had not taken the time to just say, "Jesus, what do you wanna say?"
mm. That's so good, Kayla. The fact that you listen to and realize like, hey, this stress is literally like what I prayed for. I asked for these things, and he was faithful and he gave them to you. And so
Yeah.
that's just dumb enemy tactics. It's like he wants you to forget why like you literally asked for this, and we have every reason to be thankful for what God gives us. So I think it's awesome that you were sensitive enough to the Holy Spirit to listen to that.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to bring up too, because I know we've had talks about this, and one specific time I remember this is when we were at Waypoint, which for you listening, if you do not know, it's like they changed the name of it, but it's a beach retreat that our youth group did. And I remember us sitting out on the balcony and somebody asked, like, Chaz, you are so close with the Lord. Like, how is that? We had a whole talk about how Jesus should be your best friend. Like,
Mhm.
how have you really made that a priority in your life?
Like, how have I made my relationship with the Lord, like, a priority? Or, like, what do you mean?
Yeah, yeah, like, I think one thing that always stuck out to me is that you would always say, like, you treat Jesus like he is your best friend, and I want you to talk a little bit more about how you do that.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this, so this is what I will tell people when I get excited about, like, my relationship, my best friendship with Jesus is if you think about any relationship, right? Whether it's with your parents or your sibling or your significant other, what do you have to do in order to grow that relationship? So I like to think about like my relationship with Jesus like any other relationship. Or this is how what the Lord kind of showed me is like, especially with your siblings and your parents, or if you meet a friend, you know, you start out, you meet each other, you're getting to know each other, you don't really know each other that well, right? So what do you have to do to grow that relationship? You have to spend time together. It's sleepovers, it's conversations in the car. It's going out to eat. It's hanging out. It's going to school together. It's time on time on time. It's hearing each other's heart. It's you getting mad at them and them getting mad at you. And then you make up and you get over things together and you get through things together. And so in the same sense, that grows that relationship over time. In the same sense, I feel like Jesus is truly my best friend because I spend so much time with him. And And it's been years. I mean, I've been following after the Lord since I was in 8th grade, and I've made it. I'm a morning person. So every single morning when I wake up, you know, I get out of the shower, I come in my living room and I sit in front of my Bible for 30, 45 minutes every morning and read, and I listen to the Lord every single morning. Now, am I saying you have to do, like, something structured like that every day? No. But if you wanna ask me, "How do I have a best friend relationship with Jesus?" It's because I make him a priority. He's not something that I do at the end of the day if I got everything else done and have time for him. No, he comes first. He's my priority. So I say, "God, before I do anything else, before I eat, before I go work out, before I do anything else in my day, you get the first fruits of my day." And so I submit myself first to the Lord in the morning, and so he gives me his all back. And so the fact that I think we're both all in for each other just creates this really cool bond, and then it's like, "Well, God, if I put you in the first part of my day, you're coming with me everywhere." And so that best friend, you know how you become best friends with somebody? You spend a lot of time together, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I'll go out to eat. I'll ask Jesus what he thinks I should get to eat. It's little things that people think are dumb, but literally treat him like he's right there in the car with you. Or I'll say, "Jesus, what song do you wanna listen to with me? You know, what scripture should I read? Who should I go talk to today? How can I pray for somebody today?" Or, you know, "Holy Spirit, what do you think about the way I look?" If I'm having a day where I don't think I look super great, or I don't think I'm having doubts about myself, like, "God, what do you think of my outfit?" You know, involve him in the little things. Treat him like he's a human. Treat him like he's right there with you. And you'll start to find him in the little things. You'll start to see him swinging from the tree branches. You'll start to see him in the sunlight. You'll start to see him in the fast food worker who's having a bad day, and you're like, they need to I need to pray for them, Lord. Give me a word for them. Tell me how I can pray for them. It's just like he walks. There's this song was like, "He walks with me, he talks with me, he calls me his friend." Well, if you allow Jesus to be every part of your life and in every part of your life, he will walk with you and he will talk to you and he will be your best friend and he'll show up everywhere. You just gotta treat him not like he's this like just giant judge standing over you ready to just thump you on your head, but he's just a loving father who just wants to go spend time with his kids.
And I feel like that makes life really fun.
It does. It makes life so joyful because it's like, "God, what are we getting into today?"
Yeah. Wait, I really like that. Even like, God, like, what should I eat? Like,
Yeah.
I think oh my gosh. That, yeah. I was just talking, I actually think I just talked about this in my episode last week. Um, about that, about how that's something that I actually need to work on, is just finding him in the little moments each and every
Mhm.
day and not just asking him, but just like including him in
Yeah.
everything. And sometimes, which I really just do this when I'm nervous or like stressed out about something, I'll just envision him there watching. Like I would do this all the time when I had to go on a stage to speak or I was at a dance competition. I would imagine him like sitting in like on the side of the stage, like getting all excited for me or like sitting in the audience cheering me on. And like that would always, it just like makes you happier.
Yeah,
Like he's sitting right here listening to it.
exactly. And I mean, the enemy will try to make you feel like that's so dumb, but it literally is so true, like,
Yes.
he wants us to include him in everything because, why would you create somebody you don't wanna be with,
Oh, yeah.
you know? He always wants to be with us.
Yeah.
So,
That's so true.
I don't know. It makes me think back to whenever I was younger. The Lord takes me whenever I pray a lot, the Lord takes me to a special place in my mind. I'm sure a lot of people have this, but the Lord always takes me to this, like, grain field,
Mm.
and, a lot of times when I'm spending time with him, he'll take me into a grain field, where I'm walking, like, the stalks, like, this high up to my hip, and it's, like, beautiful sunlight, and I always look to the left of the hill, and he's standing there looking at me, and every time I walk to the top of the hill, there's 2 chairs there, and he'll sit there, and he'll sit in his chair, and I'll sit in mine, and we'll talk, and that's what my quiet time looks like,
Mm.
and it always makes you think, like, God is so, like, creative. He wants to spend time with us, um, when our life can look like a vast field just covered in things. He's like, "Look at me." Like,
Mhm.
you can come talk to me. You can,
Yeah.
like, I know you're having a bad day or I know you're having a great day. I know you're enjoying yourself, but you can still come talk to me. Like, I can be a part of this with you. So
Mm, he's so lively too. And also, we don't talk about this enough, like, God has a humor.
yes, oh my gosh. Yes.
He's funny. He's can be really funny. And there's even points in the Bible I'm reading and I'm like, "What the" like, I just
Yeah.
start laughing. I'm like, "God, you are funny."
Bro, he's so funny. Um, that makes me think, because one time when I was that same camp where I learned to journal the voice
Yeah.
of the Lord, I went back senior year, and I've always like, I mean, we know God has such a funny sense of humor. Well, I remember one time I was laughing, like laughing my butt off at something funny that happened. Yeah, we were watching the Emojis movie. What was that
Oh,
movie?
yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Not emojis, but
No,
uh,
isn't it?
the where all the emotions are like in this girl's head.
Oh, Inside Out.
Inside Out, yes. And I was laughing like crazy, and later that day, I journaled and I was like, I said, "God, I just feel like you've been so funny today, like, with this movie." And he was like, "Chaz, I just wanna let you know that whenever you laugh, I laugh too." And so, I always thought about that, like, anytime I think something's funny, God probably does too. Like, he's not super serious as people think he is. Also,
Oh.
he makes dumb things happen to you. If you ever, like, trip and fall and something crazy happens, like, you can most of the time look up and just be like, "God, I know you probably meant for that to happen."
Yeah, that makes like, actually, like, just thinking about that makes me smile because it's like, it's really just makes life so much fun.
Yeah.
And when we think of God as somebody that, like, he's not like you said, this serious guy just overlooking, like, watching our every move to make sure, like, "Oh, are you sinning?" Like, no, he's just, like he's here, like, living life with us.
Mhm.
It's so awesome. Um, but I think we're good to wrap up. I think
Yeah.
that's good, but Chaz, is there anything else you wanna say?
No, I do wanna appreciate you for the opportunity just to do this, like, this is so awesome. I feel like I've been talking a lot, but
No, you've done great.
I always love to share my faith, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
Well, I'm really glad you were able to come on here. Um, guys, I hope this helped kickstart your week. This is awesome, and I hope you're on for a future episode. I think that'd be good. So, Chaz, thank you again, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.